Hey guys, welcome back to some more Battlefield 2042 today. We just got the patch notes for a new major update that will drop next Tuesday on October 25, and I already thought that we will see some patch notes today because it would be very unusual for DICE to bring an event to the game but no update. So here we go, this is what the patch notes look like. Quite a few changes and also another overview of the event, and I will go over all of the most important points in the video, but if you want to read through the full notes yourself, you can find the link to them in the description below. So first of all, again, we have the event. I already talked about it in yesterday's video and what kind of content, modes and cosmetics we can expect from it. If you haven't seen this yet, be sure to click the link in the info box. And here in the patch notes, we get some more details to the changes that were made to realize the hardcore modes of the event. And the first point here is friendly fire is enabled and also friendly fire damage reflection. If you play Call of Duty, you might know this already, which means when you kill more than a certain amount of your teammates, no matter if this happens accidentally or on purpose, 100% of the damage dealt will reflect back to you. And this also happens when you are in a vehicle, so you need to be specifically careful as tank driver or gunner, and you cannot just spam tank shells or explosives into a crowded area. Additionally, the soldier health is set to only 60% and the health regeneration speed is only 10% of what it usually is, so medics are really needed in this mode. When you are downed, you end up in a crawling state, so you can try to get behind cover if there is any around. Traversal sprint and sliding are disabled. The modes have double the tickets for both teams. The time to capture and neutralize flags was doubled, and the specialists will receive uniforms instead of their usual skins that follow a certain color palette for each side. So one team is set to a green beige palette and the other team to the red tier 1 palette. What skins we will see specifically is not written in the patch notes, so we just have to wait and see what we get. When it comes to weapons, we have magazine discarding. So when you reload your weapon, all bullets that remain within your magazine will be discarded and are not automatically saved for later like it usually is. And this will probably be the hardest part for me personally because I'm so used to reloading after each kill. And then we have a restricted weapon system. This means that the assault class will only have access to assault rifles, shotguns, DMRs and the Ghostmaker crossbow. That was probably important for the assault class. The engineer class has LMGs and lever action rifles such as the GVT. The support class gets SMGs and shotguns, and the recon class gets all of the sniper rifles, shotguns, DMRs and the Ghostmaker crossbow again, and all of the lever action rifles as well. And only from this overview right here, it clearly shows that the game was not made for a restricted weapon system. Anyways, to balance all of this out a little bit at least, they also changed a few of the damage multipliers. So for the SMGs and sniper rifles, they reduced it to 0.8 to make them less effective at longer than intended ranges. But the rest of the weapons remains the same multipliers they have in normal modes. The vehicles, on the other hand, were made a lot more scary, probably because it's Halloween. So vehicles have a maximum health of 1.4 instead of the default 1.0, but health regeneration is completely disabled, which means you need to rely on engineers for repairing or on the repair system upgrade. And vehicles' weak points take more damage. So if you play as an engineer, be sure to specifically go for these weak points, like the back of the tank, for example. And then we also have some changes to the UI and HUD elements to make them more hardcore as well. So for example, the name tags for enemies were removed, so there's no proximity spotting anymore when you move your crosshair over an enemy and you can see the red dot and his name tag. This is not gonna happen in hardcore. There's also no spotting at all, so no 3D spotting and no marking of enemies. The minimap was removed, but you can still use the big map that you can open with M on PC. The crosshair was disabled and the hit markers as well, so you don't have a visual hit marker anymore, but you can still rely on the audio hit markers. Let's hope they all work as well. And the sound design was also slightly changed for a more realistic, immersive experience. And good news for all players who like to tinker around in Portal, All of these modifiers that I mentioned before and the dice used to create the event mode, and even more of them, are now also available in Portal for everyone to use. So if you're one of the players that are frequently hosting hardcore servers, now you have a lot more modifiers at hand to create these. But of course we also got a few other changes that are not connected to the hardcore modes of the event. First of all, the M1 Garand that will be added as part of the event as new marksman rifle will undergo a few tweaks to fit within the already existing roster. So the damage model and the number of magazines were increased, the recoil has been lowered, and recoil as well as accuracy are impacted by the player's stance. So when crouching the weapon is most accurate, and when standing and moving it's the least accurate. Basically how it works for all other weapons in 2042 and probably in every shooter game out there. And the UH-60, the new helicopter that was just added a few weeks ago, got some smaller tweaks to bring it in line with the other air vehicles of the game. So for example, the minigun damage was increased from 18 to 20, the repair system is now more efficient and heals 25 HP in 5 seconds instead of 10 HP in 8.6 seconds, and the gravity pull when near the ground has been lowered. And that was it for the patch notes already. In addition to this, we also got a tiny bit of lore to the new event, at least a new blog post where a man called Jonathan Michaels writes to Henry Blackburn. You know, the Blackburn that was the main protagonist in Battlefield 3's campaign and then started Boreas, the company building these clones in the laboratory that is now our map redacted. So he receives a message that says, "Mr. Blackburn, I apologize for bothering you, but I've come across something that may be of interest. It's an unencrypted military transcript circa 1944 straight out of the front in Europe. Some American troops in Bastogne received some interesting orders, very paranoid, hush-hush kind of stuff. It looks like Allied command had some details about an incoming German assault and a plan to shore up their defenses. They had a special unit of soldiers ready to deploy at a moment's notice, but the funny thing is that I can't find any records of this unit anywhere. They're ghosts to the world, for all intents and purposes. The soldiers were ordered to hold their positions at all costs. Not unusual, Bastogne was a stronghold for the Allies, but what interested me was their order to ask no questions of command or this special unit. They had a mission to attend to in Bastogne, and it seems they intended to complete it with the strength of hell itself, whatever that means. It felt more like a desperate plea than an order, honestly. Command seemed very clear that the unit would not speak on their purpose and that wicked things would happen if they were impeded. I've also never seen a more devoted cry for forgiveness in official orders before. I can't make heads or tails of the last part, so this is partially to get some fresh eyes looking at it. It's all in Latin. There are some strange warning in there about a cleansing fire. It's too fanatical for an order from Allied command. It looks like it was scrawled in after the fact, maybe by someone on the ground in Bastogne. While it is extremely compelling, it's also giving me a feeling of great discomfort. I ask you to review it at your earliest convenience, but try not to dwell on it very long. Let me know if you think it's worth digging into further. Michaels. So probably an explanation why we are set to fight on these two World War II maps during the event and why they're all getting darker and more gritty and have these rings of fire everywhere. And it still also sounds like a hint towards Battlefield 5's Firestorm, especially since Sulis is involved again. Anyways, that was it for today. Let's see how it all plays when the event starts next week and how it all comes together story-wise. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. I'm Catwoman, and you are awesome.